Kia ora everyone! With the news of the new LEGO Batman game and the release of the LEGO Arkham Asylum set on the horizon, it's put me in a bit of a classic LEGO Batman sort of mood. So this here is set 6860, the Batcave, which released in 2012 as part of the new at the time LEGO theme of LEGO DC superheroes. So this was released as part of a revival wave for the brand, in which Batman would now be joined by his friends from the Justice League. This Batcave here contains 690 pieces in total with 5 minifigures. Only 2 of them remained exclusive here to the set. I have to say, 5 minifigures feels way too small of a number for this type of a release. Back in 2012, this thing retailed for the price of $70 USD before tax. Now that price converted over into NZD should have made this 120 NZD. We actually instead had to pay 160 NZD, which was $20 more expensive than the current Australian price. Today in the aftermarket space, this Batcave set is reportedly valued at 200 NZD sealed, or about $120 NZD in second-hand condition. And the set overview here is a brand new design for the Batcave. The model is smaller than the previous one, which contained over 1,000 pieces in total, and this model on screen certainly appears to be a bit of an outdated design, I will admit, but I have always wanted this release very desperately, and I wish I had this in my personal collection. The newer model there changes the figure roster and it shrinks the design elements down. You've got some sections that feature a jail cell, an armory, a bat computer, and a changing station for Bruce to appear as Batman, but more on all of that later. The first thing to talk about here are these vehicle inclusions. We've got one vehicle for the heroes and one vehicle for the villains. It feels like an even balance there for fighting. The Batcycle, which I have Robin currently displaying, is built like a standard superhero bike build. You've got your large wheels there, some sticker displays of the icons there too. It shows us a bit of the color scheme for the set as well. It's a very simple build, some flick fire missiles there on the sides as you can see. I don't really have too much to say about this little Batcycle. I will mention that the sticker quality here appears to be pretty poor. You can see the color appears to be quite dull there, where it should be nice and bright. Bane's drill vehicle is a much cooler inclusion that feels fitting for the LEGO DC superheroes theme, both in its style and design. It feels very comic inspired for this intimidating character. It's the same basic idea for the flick fire missiles and some sticker designs on the sides there. The wheels are 6 in total, 2 groups of 3 with a tread that's wrapped around them for that tank-like feeling. A very cool feature is the movement of the drill piece, which is linked up in a way that makes the wheels and drill move at the same time. It's something that I remembered being very fun when I was younger. The 2 vehicles are just nice inclusions that I think had to be there. I don't know how necessary it was for these to be included, but I'm not annoyed at their presence either. It's the main build that is the main appealing factor for me. I always wanted a LEGO Batcave for my personal collection. My personal stance here is that I think I'm still waiting for the definitive LEGO Batcave to release. I think most of the Batcave products that LEGO have released have both pros and cons. I think the colors here help to make a very specific design that I always liked, but I never loved in comparison to either the all black and light grey designs or the older styled 60s kind of look that really emphasizes the cave-like details. The holding cell here can be removed from the scene entirely, connected by a simple Technic peg, and it's here for holding Ivy in custody. You can see some details on the build there that clearly indicate this. You've got stickers of the name of the area and the alert sign up top there for the missiles. We're used to these by now, but there's a second set of defensive weapons in the build too. These things can spin and the missile holders themselves can move about as well. The more interesting stickers here are the vital signs of Ivy, or a scanner sticker or something. It looks like it's scanning for something on her personnel. The other stickers there on the walls are just decorative areas that feature some plants. In case you didn't know what her deal was, you've got a unique design on this wall and then also at the very back of the build here. The holding cell bars are your usual lightsaber pieces attached by a tool hanger piece. They sit in place like so. It's a pretty simple thing to remove from the scene. It makes it easy to place Ivy inside, and this is what she looks like while being held captive. Reconnecting to the scene is rather easy. It's a Technic peg again, so it fits nicely into place like so. The rest of the build then is dedicated to the armory and the suit storage. You've got some nice setting details there to help establish the cave. To make things easier, I'm going to split the build apart from this ladder, which links the 2 builds together, and we'll come back to the other side in just a sec. This section here is showing off the structural build for the model. It feels pretty different from the original one, because that didn't have too much going on there for the build in my eyes. You've got big pieces there for lots of room, but they still feel pretty simple. We have some steps down there for the play feature, and this also shows us the blue lattice tower pieces. These are used all throughout the build for making the second layers. You've also got some more translucent builds too. That's the main color palette for this release, of course. The armory section there features a small plot of room for the minifigures to stand on, but removing Bane from the scene here helps to show us the Batgear. It's the same sticker design that we've seen already, and the accessories feature things like batarangs and handcuffs. We don't really have anything that was made for just this release. The sticker here shows the suit in a ready state, so we're all set to be fighting crime. If we spin this around, we can almost see inside that little elevator room, but the thing is mostly kept as a secret. Up top you've got a telephone, which is pretty similar to the Adam West stuff, and a small standing space here for Bruce Wayne. The idea is that you place Bruce in here, and then with the Technic pin you can drop him down below, and it should release Bruce to fall down, and then below will emerge Batman. It's a real life Texas switch in LEGO. The way this gimmick works is very easy. Batman is already hiding in the elevator and Bruce is falling onto him, which is what releases the minifig. And there he is, as you can see it, sort of. Now the set there is quite old actually, so I don't even really need to be using the Technic pin. It will just stay standing in place. Not a great sign. It means that I do need to bash him in a little bit to get the results that we're looking for. When it works, it's a really fun gimmick that I've always really enjoyed, and I think LEGO have used this both before and since then. As for the other part of the build, it's another simple one here. It's quite large in its scale, but the features are quick to rattle off. We can see some lights and some computer screens, a desk area, but also two big doors and a sign maybe. The thing with these doors is that they act as the entry point and exit point for the Batcave, and the builds for the doors are massive in comparison to the Batcycle. Like obviously that build is going to be able to fit between these doors. The real test for me was when comparing the doors to other LEGO Batman vehicles. Now at the time of this release, LEGO made this Two-Face set that features a bank build but also the Batmobile. And I really wanted to see if this Batcave build accommodates the Batmobile that released in a different set. The answer was yes, thankfully. Creative decisions like this were always really special to me. It basically confirmed the belief that I had that the LEGO teams are always going to be in communication with one another about their releases. It makes the main car build release a more appealing set knowing that his cave and vehicle are compatible with one another. We've got a ladder there to explain how the heroes reach the top floor, and the other side just uses some grey rocks there to help build up that display. Nothing really interactive on the other side here. We've also got this sign inclusion just in case Batman forgot who lived here. Now looking it up, this piece was released in one other LEGO set, but it was one of those LEGO board game releases, so this is the only playset that this piece appeared in. And the main computer is a staple for the LEGO Batman world. This one features 3 different monitors with sticker designs featuring different key details for Bats to keep his eye on. As for the desk itself, it's pretty nice. You've got a swivel chair there and some computer looking displays with boards and buttons and the whole shebang, but we'll take an up close look at those monitors. We can see on the left it showcases Bane's break-in, the middle one there maybe features a map of Gotham, and maybe this is meant to be where the cave is located right now, or it's just some of the crimes that are currently taking place. The last monitor there shows the status of all of his vehicles. We see the Cycle and the Batmobile build there. We also see the last one being the Batwing, which was also a set that released alongside this wave too. We mentioned a ladder piece earlier. It's a very simple connection that won't really hold things in place, but it's a nice way to link the two builds together for your display to look nice and proper. That's all I have to say about the Batcave. All we need here are the vehicles and the minifigures to help build out the scene, and speaking of which, our minifigures are just fine. The exclusivity is either a bit of a stretch or it's lacking, but that's only in retrospect. Even at release though, I still felt disappointed with these guys. They weren't the most exciting releases to have in a set. So this is Batman appearing in a blue and grey suit, which I thought was really cool at the time and I still think holds up quite nicely, especially since I can't recall the last time that LEGO actually released a Batman figure dressed in the blue like this. He released in these sets with a double-sided expression that always had me thinking he was acting cheeky or something, celebrating a victory when he should be humbling. Removing the cowl and the cape piece to show the expressions underneath and the torso printing, I've made it clear on this channel that I have very strong opinions on LEGO's translations of Batman minifigures, but I do genuinely like that white stripe for the eyes being used on comic or cartoon-based releases. Now this here is a very quick comparison to the black suited minifigure. Released in this exact same wave of sets, the black suit design was used in sets like the Batmobile and the Batwing release. We can see that the prints there are the exact same, it's just a simple color swap between those figures. Pretty cool stuff. This here is a comparison to the first ever LEGO Batman release, or one of them at least. LEGO Batman did have quite a few releases between the first one and this 2012 one. I just wanted to show off the changes made for the torso design here on a minifigure that also used the same grey torso look. If you wanted to, you could take these parts here and swap the blues and the blacks for making your own brand new custom black and grey look. Now the value for this guy is a bit higher than I expected. He's currently listed between $11 NZD and $30 NZD, probably because it was one of the more recent blue suited releases. Then this here is Robin, and this was a pretty big deal for me at the time, as this was my first ever Robin minifigure, and if I'm honest, I was never really a big fan of this guy. My definitive idea of Robin is wearing green, red, and yellow, and so this all red and black design that was popular for the time was never really appealing to me. He does use the nerd hairpiece from the LEGO CMF series, which I think works really well for him, and I do love the printing there for the torso, which could be one of the best releases for a Robin figure, or at least for that time. Removing the cape there and showing the double-sided expression, which helps to show a terrified look. I thought that this too was something that worked really well for Robin. He tragically does not include any other accessories. Other releases would see him with a hood piece or a bow staff weapon. This release though, unfortunately, we're given nothing. So this is Robin compared to his second release, which is technically also his first release. The only difference between the two was the hair pieces, but anyway, we still have the obvious changes of the colors there and even the expressions, but I still adore the older style more, as you probably could have guessed. He was included in 3 sets in total. The value for the red and black suit is about what I expected for Robin, currently listed between $11 to $23 NZD right now in the aftermarket space. And so this is Bruce Wayne, and it's pretty funny to say that even as a kid, this was one of my most exciting minifigure releases at the time. He's one of the 2 exclusives for the set, but even in 2012, I thought the figure was really lame, and I still do to this day. I think it's a bit of a lacking release. The torso and suit detailing is pretty cool, and I believe exclusive to this set, so that's something at least, but I've always hated the expression that they used for him. For one thing, that headpiece is used with Lex Luthor from the exact same wave, so it's a case of LEGO reusing the same piece that's already used on a villain from the same theme. It was also then used for Loki for almost a decade, so they really weren't hiding their reuses across their themes. I'm also not a fan of that hairpiece used, and I never have been. That's enough to make the figure lacking for me personally. Since we have a Bruce Wayne inclusion, it did mean that you could display Batman without his cowl on, and I do think that this style seems pretty cool. Maybe it's something to make the display a bit more interesting. Now his value is low-ish, but it is still high for a rather boring release. After all, he is exclusive. He's currently valued between $9 to $20 NZD right now in the aftermarket space. As for the main villains, we have Ivy up first. She's a very simple but very effective figure for 2012. I really love the multicolor use of greens there. I think it's always really striking on minifigs. The highlight, of course, is the green plant life that's been printed on her hair, though I would have preferred this to be a brand new molded piece, but that would have been very costly for the time to make. She also features some special prints there for her expression and a double-sided look that showcases some very angry emotions. She was released in a couple of sets in total though, one of which was already covered on this channel in fact, so the value is rather moderate with all of this in consideration. She's currently listed between $12 to $22 NZD right now in the aftermarket space. Finally, we have Bane, who is a vanilla minifigure release and the second iteration of this character. The figure is listed as being an exclusive, but he looks so incredibly similar to the one that released in LEGO Dimensions. I do love the torso details on this guy, but the plain legs are rather disappointing to see. There's not really a whole lot else to say about Bane. I would have loved to have seen a brick-built Venom tank for him to be wearing rather than just the print. LEGO would end up doing this for a couple of releases in the future, but not for this guy unfortunately. His value right now in the aftermarket space is currently $10 to $18 NZD right now. Now the instructions for the set here released in 3 booklets. We've got some blue theming on the inside, and occasionally you might see the characters of Batman, Superman and Joker appearing in the corner. The first booklet there stops halfway through the build, and then we have the winning kid at the back. The second instruction manual finishes the main build here before we move on to the computer section of the build, which does keep to theme as we've covered, and at the very back we see the set all complete, followed by the inventory list across some pages. You've also got some advertisements there, though nothing too interesting to see. It's just the construction figures and the video game, and that wraps us up. Now, as this was a LEGO DC playset, the last thing to do was to display all of my DC heroes and villains, and then we're left with something that looks like this. Overall, I've always had mixed feelings on this one. It's a good set with some nice features and well-crafted details, but it's always been an aesthetic that's just never really won me over. The blue isn't nearly as exciting to me as the black and grey, and I really don't like the absent minifigures here. No inclusion of Alfred or Dick Grayson is crazy to me, especially when you throw in a Bruce Wayne figure. I do think it makes for a great display piece with everyone battling it out right before my eyes, but we would have better LEGO DC playsets releases eventually. It's just a shame to see that LEGO eventually stopped releasing stuff for DC, so here's hoping we get some better stuff in the future. Thanks for watching everyone. If you enjoyed this look at a LEGO DC Superheroes release, liking this video here and subscribing to the channel does help to support more videos like this one in the future. Ka kite ana everyone, take care, hope to see you all next time.